All right, it's great to be here. I'd like to, first of all, start by saying thanks to the Cavell team for pulling this event together. It's always great to be here, and it's exciting. Matt, I don't know where you are. I think I agreed with everything you said, except you startled me when you said it isn't all bad news. Because I think completely opposite from that. I think it's actually a super exciting time to be part of this industry, and these changes are create tons of opportunity. I lead product bandwidth, so I come to these conferences. I love learning, but I do think about things a bit differently. And so I want to share some of our experiences in the market. I realize a bunch of my slides are going to say things that have already been said a couple times today, so I'm going to change things a little bit on the fly. And maybe just focus on some of the real concrete customer experiences we've had enabling AI agents. So I think that would make it more relevant and hopefully just drive home what the opportunities really look like and maybe help others understand some of the opportunities we're seeing and enjoying them. So from transactions to trusted conversations. I'll get into that a little bit. I'm not going to spend much time on this slide. I think everybody now gets it. I think the change I would make if I could edit it this morning is really voice agents. AI is doing a lot. From our perspective, our focus, where we're spending time, is really on how voice agents are changing things. Because there's really a lot there that is fundamentally changing the customer experience. I've wondered about this slide. Is this really the biggest trend over the last 30 years? And I actually think it is. I don't think it's hyperbole. As I think about the changes mobile's driven, changes OTT, changes with omni-channel, changes in applications, I genuinely think the changes are bigger and faster that are happening right now than I've seen in my career. But what's the North Star? So, lying in bed this morning when I woke up, I was reading some notes from NVIDIA's conference. There is so much jargon. There are so many technical standards. I personally find it overwhelming. So what is my North Star? And what do I keep in front of me with agentic AI that really makes me believe that there's change happening? From my perspective, the change is in the consumer to business experience. And so we've talked a little bit about that today. We've heard about the need to know your customer. When I look at what omni-channel has done, it has enabled a lot of different transactions. But they are transactions. Whether it's on WhatsApp, voice talking to a rep, using an app, it is an anonymous transaction. It's one-off, and the next time you go as a consumer and work with that business, it will be another transaction. That is what you expect. Transactions. Yes, you can do them over lots of channels, but they're transactions. The power of what agentic AI can do is to fundamentally change your relationship as a consumer with the businesses you interact with. It should be seamless and continuous. Every time you, as a consumer, talk to that business, you should pick up exactly where you left off with who you left off. It's actually really hard to imagine experience because it's not what we're used to. And so from our perspective, if you keep that as the North Star of what this can enable for your customers, this truly becomes transformational in the business to consumer communications. We were listening on the panel earlier about what I would think about organizational capabilities. What do I worry about? I worry about actually the word I have not heard here yet today, which is creativity. Can all of my teams, my salespeople, my marketing people, my product teams, can they imagine this kind of experience with each of their customers? Genuinely, that is what worries me the most. Can we keep up with the creative opportunity that this kind of North Star, this kind of product experience can create? I'll do a quick plug for the data. I think Dom mentioned some research we recently did with the Cavell Group. It's available on our website. What I would point out is Across both Europe and North America, this problem, AI and machine learning implementation, is top of mind with CIOs. It actually ranked higher in Europe than it did in North America, which surprised me. And while it isn't circled here, doing it in a secure way is really important. We've heard data sovereignty, and I'll get into a little bit more. From our perspective, when we talk to enterprises, it's not really about how do I meet the regulatory compliance. It's how do I meet the enterprise's comfort with AI and where their data is going. I'm sure everybody in this room has seen lots of really compelling demos. See all kinds of demos that are really flashy. And then you ask yourself, where did my data go? Does that LLM that has my data, do they actually know where my data goes? I think the data issue is more than what most of us are thinking with data sovereignty. Where is your enterprise customer data going? Is there actually control of it? And does anybody actually know where it's going? A lot of the really interesting things we've seen in demos, the answer is no. People do not know where that data is going. So AI and doing it in a secure way, I think we already heard a lot today, important. I'm going to spend some time on 3 real concrete customer examples that will maybe help make this real for you. I got too much on the slides. The first was a leading hospitality brand. They run multiple hotel resort brands globally. And their challenge was they had an existing CCaaS system. Their challenge was they very often could not deliver customer service because they didn't have people at the front desk when their guests needed them. So this was not an issue of trying to displace people. The bar they had today from service providing was guests need service, there is nobody to answer the call. Pretty clear business case for them, pretty easy. And their challenge was to take one of those hyper-verticalized voice agent companies, like Dom showed on the slide before, and put them where an IVR used to be in front of the CCaaS system. This voice agent company, when you talk to them, did not know what an SBC was. That's probably shocking for this room. So you can imagine facilitating that conversation between a bunch of web developers, a startup, who did not have a SIP engineer on staff, who did not know what an SBC was, trying to plug that into a CCaaS application. That is not a normal challenge most of us have faced. But it's one that we worked with and enabled for this application so that they could bring a better level of service to individual franchises, to individual hotels and locations with customized experiences globally. Super compelling and a really interesting use of AI that made a lot of sense. Second one was a large-scale point-of-sales platform. Small businesses running restaurants, try calling them to place a food order at meal times, really difficult. Again, for them, the opportunity was, it was often hard for their customers to provide service. There was nobody there to pick up the phone because they were serving a customer in their store or somewhere else. They wanted to create a multimodal experience. And a lot of the experiences we're seeing are genuinely multimodal. Messaging, moving to richer messaging channels, and voice as well. And so their experience was one where we enabled them with both voice and messaging to create an agentic experience to take orders for SMBs. Again, these SMBs were previously providing no service because they often couldn't even answer the phone at peak times. The third use case was also similar with a low-cost airline. They also have that challenge in peak times where they could not get agents to answer the phone. And so a voice agent in the experience to handle things like ticket rebooking and other use cases like that, refunds, was a really compelling business case for them. And so as we look back and look at this, we've seen a lot of opportunities to bring these multimodal experiences, voice and messaging together, using agents, and there's some really low-hanging fruit for our customers and for the enterprises to realize value from immediately. this has come up a lot of, several times today, but I'm going to put a different spin on it because the question is, if you believe in that North Star experience that the enterprise wants to have for their customers, who is going to bring it to them? I think that's actually the key question. So traditionally, you'd think of service providers, and many of you do this and can do that. You would also see CPaaS providers. You'd also see these conversational AI customers. So the Cavell team was talking about them going direct. A lot of them believe they can bring that experience to your customers. UCaaS providers are bringing these experiences. CCaaS providers, and as we saw with Agentforce Contact Center launching, CRM providers. The traditional category definitions are blurring. There is no good name for what is here in the middle. Cavell would argue there is one, it's called intelligent workspaces, but these are all coming together. And the question really becomes, who is going to show up first at the enterprise, at the business, to help them execute on a better customer experience? They don't really care. They want the better experience for their customer. And so as we've been watching the market, we start to see all of these as being our customers. And as you think about the relationship you have with your business customers and enterprises, these are some of the competitors you'll be seeing as well. I just want to give a couple of product previews on our next steps. So I'm actually surprised that we've been working on an AI receptionist. Right? You've seen the very crowded A16Z slide in different forms with all these different startups out there doing these experiences. And so if you'd asked me a year ago, I'd have said, no way. It's super crowded, no incremental value we can provide. We're not going to do anything there. Turns out there's actually a lot of white space in that market. When you look at a lot of those startups that are out there and the solutions they're putting out there, they are not secure. And so a lot of customers will balk at them. And they're extremely expensive. You can probably not sell it profitably to your SMB customers. And it's an architectural issue. The technologies they're built on, the technology stacks, and the costs for them do not work. And so our observation looking at that market was a lot of really compelling opportunity, a lot of really compelling experiences that when you run the economics of distribution, will never fly. So our approach has been different. Create a very natural experience, make it fast, low latency, which we can do at the edge of our network, and make it affordable from the technologies you're using. A lot of the SMB use cases do not need the latest models with a PhD level LLM behind them to do the use cases they're accomplishing. And so there are opportunities to push models out, to push them out locally, to keep the data at a tenant level, and provide a solution that is natural, fast, and one that our customers can all sell for margin. So we're excited about this, and yet still surprised at the same time for this kind of opportunity. We're putting it in beta. It sounds interesting. Talk to us because we're looking for beta customers to recruit right now. And finally, getting back to the security part of this as well. If you look back at that slide of all of the different companies that are going to try and bring these experiences to businesses and enterprises, they're looking to do it globally, and they are looking at how they do that in an increasingly complex regulatory environment. The traditional path that most service providers and the UCaaS and CCaaS providers took of getting regulated and going country by country as a regulated service provider isn't going to fly for the next generation of companies who want to bring these experiences to market. Remember, they don't know what an SBC is. They're not going to get licensed and go down the traditional path. So we are rolling out a carrier of record enablement. There's really three aspects we're looking to solve here. One, helping our customers expand globally from a regulatory perspective. Clearly a big hurdle there. Number two is operationally. there's often a lot of operational challenges to get your teams able to work in a large number of countries. And so we've been bringing AI technologies to our tool set and to our portals to help change how that works. So our customers can just ask the question, what do I need to activate a phone number in Spain? And we can walk our customers through, walk your people through that process step by step. It shouldn't be mysterious. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't need tons of training. It is something that technology allows us to do easily today. And third, we think even that model that happens today is broken as well. Our focus is to help our customers as they are activating their customers in the country in real time to go through that process rather than today's two-step process, which you collect the you build your system, you collect the information, then there's fallout, you send it to us, and it goes back and forth. That doesn't make sense. To really roll out these kind of experiences, we have a vision where our customers can activate their end users in our system in real time. When you have the end user, get their document. You can get their driver's license. You can get the documentation you need so they can leave activated instantly. That's our vision to help these types of experiences roll out globally. So there you go. There's a few thoughts. Hopefully that helps share a few concrete data points on what these customer journeys look like. The jargon can be really confusing around a lot of the different levels of the stack where AI is driving change. But the opportunity is real. And the excitement when you are in the room with your customers, envisioning new experiences with them, and helping them launch it and drive real business outcomes is exciting. It is revitalizing. We just got back from Enterprise Connect a couple weeks ago, and very often the shows look the same. But I think this is a different time in our industry because it is not just about the technologies. It is about some fundamentally different business outcomes we can drive for enterprises together. It's exciting. Thank you.